All right, welcome back for our first match of this league. This is actually the second match of the league for me. I faced the mirror and didn't think that it was really worth recording. It wasn't really, you know, it wasn't really that much worth it. So this opening hand is not great, but we're on the draw. We drew a fifth land, which sucks quite a bit. Looks like we're up against Blue Red Drake. Blue Red Drake is not a great match. It's not a bad match. It's really somewhere in between. It's really just a matter of can they draw enough counter spells to stop everything that you're doing. Cards like Keldon Marauders are okay, and apparently, so just getting extremely unlucky right now. Um, this is basically what happened in the match against Burn. Game one, I drew six lands by my turn by my turn two, and I was just like, before I get any angrier, because I had just done a cube where it just went horribly, then I just stopped recording. It wasn't a very interesting match anyway. It really wasn't. And then I won game two and three, and I was very more I was much more calm. But so I assume my opponent has a Flame Slash in their hand. Probably not gonna bolt. Maybe they have a Seagate Oracle. Nope, they have a Flame Slash. Make him take one. This game is not looking great. Um, Bolt is good though. Seagate Oracle, sure. Not going to bolt that. Definitely going to Flame Rift. We get the chance. So one thing that I should explain that I know I didn't in the deck tech, I forgot, was the absence of Forgotten Cave. Forgotten Cave is not my favorite card because I was losing a lot of games to having Forgotten Cave in play and not being able to sack it to Fire Blast. And it didn't come up often, but it came up often enough that it really soured me on it. Wow, another land. This is unbelievable. Alright, well, hit my opponent for four, I suppose, and say go. Uh, we would probably be winning right now if these four lands were four spell. If these three lands were three spells, probably would be winning right now. But sometimes you just get unlucky. There's not much you can do about it. I mean, this is something typically that can happen with burn. It's not out of the norm. All right, I'll play another Keldon Marauders. See how that goes. And a counterspell. All right. Say go. Is my opponent playing a Drake? Playing a Muldrifter, sure. Not gonna bolt that. And they gained a life. Alrighty. I can tell you this, that winning game one is quite crucial for you because being on the play in game three is actually really where you need to be. Gonna just bolt my opponent and needle drop to draw another card. Put them to 9. I highly doubt we can win the game at this point, but we could try. If my opponent does not have... Maybe if my opponent just has all removal, and I draw two burn spells, I can win the game for sure. But if my opponent has a counterspell or an Archaeomancer to get back a counterspell, pretty dead. I do not like what this counterspell looks. There's too much going on. I'm so biased to Arcadian Masks and Ice Age. Peregrine Drake, sure. I can't win if I try to kill a Drake, so I'm pretty sure if my opponent just combos off, I just have to concede because I can't win if I just try to kill Peregrine Drakes. I don't have enough spells to get anywhere. All right, well we're dead. Drew a lot of lands. Lot of lands. Jeez. All right. Still think 18 lands is correct though. So Searing Blaze is piss poor in this match, as where obviously Pyroblast is not. Um, my opponent could be sideboarding out some of their removal, so Keldon Marauder's usefulness could go up. Could bring in Incinerate over a couple of Rift Bolts to try and have more instant speed removal, but I think I like the Rift Bolt being a turn 1 play a little bit better, being more importantly being 1 mana is really where I'm getting at here. All right, I'm going to keep this hand. This hand is not great, but if we can draw a second land, this hand will be quite good. Definitely will be cooking with a lot of gas if I can draw a second land. We'll be able to go turn 2 Keldon Marauders. So typically in Burn, what you want to do is use your sorcery speed spells way before you use your instants. You want to use, so in the order of spells you want to use, wow, that's not good for me. It's creatures, then sorceries, then instants. Obviously, in this case, we have no 1-drop in the deck, unlike Modern or Legacy, where you would have a Goblin Guide or a Monastery Swiftspear. So, you know. Alright, well, we drew a second land, so that's good. So, we could go Thermo Alchemist here, but I think Keldon Marauders is going to be a bit better. It's faster. It does more damage. If this was a spell, I would be more inclined to play Thermo Alchemist, but... Ooh, a Preordain, okay. Not looking too bad. Opponent top before, could have kept a land light hand. Maybe these are the 2 cards that he kept, the Preordain and the Swiftwater Cliffs. Maybe my opponent is just trolling me and keeping on top no matter what it is. Yeah. Alright. Chain Lightning. Alright, well, we're going to play Thermo Alchemist because it's better than Curse if it lives. Chain Lightning is still good in this matchup. It is a lightning bolt effect, but of course it can kind of screw you into a bad position with you know, certain things. All right, so my opponent had a Flame Slash at that time. So if their hand is just like a bunch of Hydroblasts and whatnot, probably not doing too well. Needle Drop. Alright, well, I think going Curse is going to be better. I think Curse is just a better spell. Flame Rift is particularly shines in a matchup like this where your opponent could just rely on Dispel. You know, if they use like Hydroblast early. Alrighty then. Opponent gets to draw a card, does not deal with the curse, which is cool. We drew a Lightning Bolt. I'm gonna Chain Lightning here to get it out of my hand and deal the damage and pass. I'm not going to Needle Drop in my opponent's upkeep, of course. I'm going to wait to see if I have to Pyroblast a Drake out of the sky. Seagate Oracle, I don't really give a crap about. My opponent is facing lethal damage, so keep that in mind. Because of the curse and the Needle Drops and whatnot. Alrighty, take 1. Needle Drop you. Poke. Poke. Alright, drew a land. Land actually is not bad here. Another curse. Well, a curse doesn't really do anything. Alright, so we're going to Lava Spike now. And so now what we get to do is if my opponent plays a Peregrine Drake, also at the same time being a 3, I get to Pyroblast it. If my opponent goes to Hydroblast it, I get to bolt my opponent in response and win the game. Compulsive Research. I don't give a crap about that right now. I don't give a crap. Interesting. Oh, I think they already played a land. And they're not attacking. Alrighty then. Not going to use my bolt here. Alright, well we're going to suspend the Rift Bolt though. And now my opponent knows that he, next turn, is facing lethal damage. My opponent also could gain a life with Ghostly Flicker. They could also, well, now they can gain 2 life, which is balls. But, oh well. Alrighty then. You don't really want to Pyroblast their card draw spells. You really want to Pyroblast their counter magic, of course. Looks like my opponent could be a little flooded, but they're compulsive researching, so that could also just be a lie. Kind of like the cake. Alrighty, take 2. And I'm just going to take a wild guess and say this Rift Bolt is not resolving. But this Lightning Bolt probably will. Do 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 do. That's a mean picture. You know, I never noticed that. Oh, is he ghostly flickering? Okay, well, my opponent's going to go to 5, and I don't want to show him or her that I have a Pyroblast. So, of course, I'm just going to Rift Bolt and then Lightning Bolt. I should really not have that over there, just in case I misclicked. That would have sucked. Wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, it would have mattered, actually, if I had misclicked. Of course, though, if there was a free costed spell there, that would have been bad. So now, a question here is, do I sideboard out Thermal Alchemist on the draw? The reason why is because my opponent can just easily bolt it or Flame Slash. Yes, if it lives, it's good, but by bringing in Incinerate, it also blanks my opponent's removal. So I'm going to bring in Incinerate, and that could be wrong, but we'll see. His hand's not the absolute greatest, but it's certainly not the worst. If only there were fetch lands in this format, I could just go poke. By fetch lands, I mean, you know, the pay 1 life lands, not like Evolving Wilds and stuff. The pauper fetch lands. Oh, hold on a second. Alrighty then. Whatever that was about, I hope it wasn't too bad. Alright, well that was a very, very good draw because we drew that on turn 1. So, one thing to keep in mind, of course, is when it comes to Thermal Alchemist plus Goblin Fireslinger, yes, Fireslinger is a 1-drop. This is very, very true. But Thermal Alchemist, for 1 more mana, you get to do so many more things, which I think is the bigger payoff. Alright, so we're going to put my opponent to 17 here, and we get to resolve a Keldon Marauders. Drew a 3rd land, so that's not bad, actually, because now next turn we can go Curse, plus, whatchamacallit, Needle Drop, if I have to. My opponent just says go. Interesting. But does not play the island. They replay the they play the mountain. Shoutouts to Game of Thrones. Which is quite interesting, actually. Alright, so we're going to attack. Opponent will probably bolt it. Yep. Hit you for 1. I think I'd rather just play Curse here and then Needle Drop my opponent and pass the turn. I drew another mountain. That sucks. Well, that doesn't really suck depending on like what our next 2 draw steps are, but you get the point. Compulsive Research. Compulsive Research. That card is so broken. You know, I remember when I was a kid and I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, when I was, you know, I was really young. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Graceful Charity, I always thought, and so did everybody else, this is a broken card. It is really broken. And then Magic came out with the same exact card, except more broken because of using lands. No, that's not good. Alright, well I'm going to bolt here, and then I'm going to Needle Drop, because while my opponent is tapped out, I could maybe want to Flame Rift them or something. Wow, okay. Alrighty then, I suppose. I suppose that's fair. Not really. Peregrine Drake. No. You don't need that. It's okay, opponent. You're doing fine. All you need to do is just say go for the next X amount of turns. Incinerate. All right. So that would have been Thermal Alchemist, and that would have been very, very, very bad here. Alrighty. Floating a blue says go. Okay. Okay. Well, this is starting to get very, very frustrating. Opponent's at 6 now. Never mind. Opponent's at 7. It was all conspiracy. Needle drop. Alright. I'll keep the land in my hand in case I draw Searing Blaze, which is not in my deck. I'm just keeping it in my hand because I don't want to play it. Preordain. Can you imagine if this deck got to play Preordain? You know how much better this deck would be if it got to play Preordain? Dang it. My opponent kept on top. I'm assuming it was the Compulsive Research. Won't discard a mountain. Alright. Poke. Okay. If you could tell, I'm starting to get really, really angry. Anyone like me when I'm angry? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Oh, Jesus. Alright. Oh, man. Alright. Oh, it's at 4, I guess. Seagate? Compulsive, okay. Oh, man. 9 lands. I have 9 lands left to 42 cards. Hey, opponent, would you mind compulsive researching me? It is a legal play. I'm just saying it is legal. Alright. Opponent's saying go. And discarding a land, most likely, or Flame Slash, whichever one they choose to. Discarding a Lightning Bolt. Alright. Keldon Marauders, go. Kind of funny how I'm playing it after they discard a Lightning Bolt. Alright, so I have lethal in my hand, but most likely my opponent just has, like, a bunch of counterspells at this point. Am I getting Rolling Thunder? Oh, I thought I was getting Rolling Thunder. I was about to say. Well, let's just go for it, I suppose. Yep, I got Dream Crushed. I'm sure that if I um actually no, I'm not sure. I wonder if my opponent actually has any like real counter spells in their hand. I assume that they do because it's funny like I've lost many many games to running into the very 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 few burn players who run Flame Rift and not many do. And I kept running into them, which was very very annoying because I would just have Dispel in hand and then lose, which would be quite funny. Not really, it's not funny at all. All right. All right, so my opponent played a Ghostly Flicker and then said go. Drew Incinerate. Well, they're at 1. They Flame Slash my Keldon Marauders, so 3 mana. Incinerate you? Memory Lapse. That's an interesting card to be playing. I guess it kind of locks you out of the game, so. Alrighty then. Alright, so, I kind of walked away for a minute and came back, and this thing was going on. So I'm pretty sure we're dead because my opponent can actually just gain a bunch of life, and then I can't win. So I'm just gonna concede and not waste my opponent's time or mine. And if 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5 were spells, we probably would have won the game. But this is one of the reasons why people don't like Burn, is because it can be very glass cannon. Because if you top deck too much land, you could just lose. Pretty much a perfect example. But all right, so that was our first match. Let's go do another one, and we'll see how it goes.